This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy and other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, folks, it's official. 3 teams have qualified for Champions Soul, and the 4th and final spot is up for grabs. And today, we're about to find out which team is going to make that cut. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 3 of VCT Americas Stage 2 Playoffs, live from the Riot Games Arena in Los Angeles, California. That's right, baby. I'm back. I'm Golden
It's his favorite thing.
I'm yelling at you right now.
I'm so glad you're sold to this bit. Like, you got to hit it every time, and I respect that.
You don't know where it's from, right?
It's a wrestling reference.
The Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, brother. That's where it's from.
Of course.
That's right.
How did I miss that?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
The best there ever was. All right, folks. Well, hi. I miss you guys, you know, and it's been a little bit. So let's go ahead and talk about what happened yesterday. Fill me in because I wasn't freaking here.
You missed a lot.
I missed a lot.
I mean, we qualified we confirmed 2 teams that are heading over, or 3 even. Yeah, we confirmed all 3 yesterday.
We got 3.
You did this. I mean, you missed a whole lot. Yeah, you're right. I should have been reading the teleprompter. That's not my job. That's his job. I mean, this match was an interesting one. G2 looked so good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, G2's defensive side on Lotus absolutely lights out. Jonah P was having a monster performance. And then they come out here with a wacky comp on Abyss. It was 100 Thieves map pick, as a matter of fact, but it certainly didn't look that way. G2 stumped them.
Yeah, and then, of course, we move on to Leviatán versus Crew. And, I mean, look, you can see the score right there. 6 rounds, 26-6 was the total. Absolute butt slapping. Didn't see that one coming.
They just whooped them. Man, they obliterated them. I don't think we've seen a series win this dominant in Americas this year. Potentially, Space, call me out if I'm wrong here, potentially in the franchising era in Americas. They just got dumpstered, man. I've never seen a team look so flaccid.
At least not in like a playoff situation, right? Because I do think about the 13-1 Loud EG, right?
And what about the other map, though?
But then, yeah, but that's very true.
Yeah, por eso, man. That was 6 rounds.
That's true.
Dog, it was 6 rounds.
I'm trying to help over here, brother. I can't.
And I don't I've just never seen a team look so disjointed, seeming like they were lacking identity and energy. And, you know, you can tell they even had like protocols set up. There was a smoke up. As soon as the smoke dissipates, you flood through it, you flash through it. No, forget it. Let's just give them ones and let's just trickle out the smoke the entire time. They look lost, man.
I was also just told, by the way, you were wrong. Actually, it was Lev Furia and Furia G2. Excuse me, Furia G2. So congratulations, Doug. You're a fraud.
I'm already lying.
Shout out Space, our stats guy that owned this.
Shout out Space. I'm already lying to the good people of Valorantville.
That's why we pay the big bucks for a statistician. In any case, so let's go ahead, though, and show you all the double elimination bracket and where we are right now. So Lev, G2, and Sentinels have all qualified for Champions, but coming up today, we got 2 matches, and 1 match is going to determine who locks up that last spot. But first, it's going to be our upper bracket final. We got Leviatán versus G2 Esports, and the winner is going to be moving on straight to Sunday's BO5 Grand Final, and then it's that game I was talking about, the match that determines who gets that last spot for America's Champions Soul. Will it be Crew? Will it be 100 Thieves? These two teams, are going to be clashing so that we can find out.
That's the thing, right? Like 100 Thieves, they had that good matchup against Sentinels, but their stage 2 looked pretty tough. Crew have been on a big slide, but you can make all of that go away with one strong best of 3 today to make the Soul and to stay alive here in America.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday if you're Crew or 100 Thieves. It doesn't matter. No, genuinely doesn't. You can't. Because if you come into this game holding that baggage with you, that emotional baggage, you're going to be left to check out, baby. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you are up to the snuff today. It's going to be a tough one here. But G2 clinched the number 2 seed in playoffs by taking down a red-hot Sentinels 2-0. Let's go ahead inside the comms and hear how they made all that happen in today's open mic.
And they did use an ult, but still, the cycle favors them. They've got the Thrash, they've got the orbital strike from Zelsis.
I make it for Bull to have you. You're good.
Guys, let's end it. I think we're going to do an ending on it.
They have no C's. They have no C's. They only have 1 smoke too. I have full gas.
Yo, guys, this gap, you know the off angle? That's open, okay? They could have pushed it.
Take one, come try. Yo, off money, guys.
Drop your Don't let them be scared of it. They're going to get info. We're going to exec on them after.
Okay.
Yo, he might rim all me when I dug. Okay. Yes, tether too. We need to like, you guys need to
No
go.
tether, no tether.
Okay,
Can we go?
Yep.
Yeah, they fade tether, right?
I don't see shit.
Can you back side?
He tethered, he tethered.
He just tethered.
If it's free, you take it.
I'm tethered, I can't help. He walled long. Gecko shower.
I can't see that.
Trip on me, hookah, I can't.
Yeah, He tethered.
Oh, dude.
I can next. So fine.
The Gecko. Only deadlock at B. You guys can try again. Elbow. I'm locking him out. Okay,
come back.
TP.
They're taking B. They have Gecko ult.
PO.
That's a bit.
You guys gonna Gecko hookah. I'm Molly Swan. Flashing elbow peek, wait.
Nading point when they go.
I'm gonna ult. Alright, I'm gonna TP.
Maybe one left.
Jake, I'm with you.
Raise naded.
One gas down long.
Top
One top long.
On next time, can we run out?
Down, boys. I need to grab it. I'll plant. Detain. Fight him.
I'm with you, Jake. Nice.
Hold Swan.
Out. Backside.
Up.
Go.
Fight. Backside. Find the box. He's gonna play ring.
Under. Nice. Not even close. Not even close.
Damn. Absolutely love the comms there that we were hearing from G2. I mean, is the reason why this team is in such a great position right now. It's actually quite scary to hear. When you hear that, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, just the back and forth, coming to set up a play, talking about what util is up and not, their overall macro too. But also, I just want to highlight how efficient they were in their comms. Like, no wasted breath, not getting overhyped. Maybe Leaf a little bit at the end it was double comming a bit, but like by and large, that was very, very crisp.
Well, and I think a lot of that is a testament to the synergy that the team has together to be able to parse out as much info as they did, not just in the initial hit, but then to decide to flip the map and B with Leaf having taken all that space hookah. That's a really scary squad.
Yeah, I think that if you are an up-and-coming player looking for an opportunity and want to understand how to get better, I think you got to listen to that, right? You got to listen to the way that they talk to one another, the way that they're relaying information, as you had said. It was so clean, and that's the kind of stuff that you want to see more from G2. But
I'm confused. This feels way too genuine. That felt very heartfelt and sincere. And
listen, I'm a G2. I'm a
No.
fan.
But like all of a sudden, you're like, if you youth at home are looking to be successful and have a profitable future,
you're not. You don't get to do
is
this.
The line
you don't get to do
take.
this. He was being sincere,
Listen,
and now you're mocking him.
was
He's
being
never
sincere, bruv.
Listen, I've known you too long. Something is afoot. I'm not falling for this monkey business.
Okay.
Get to the transition. There's a segue, and then you go, segue.
Like this, because we just saw some solid comms and great gameplay. But let's go ahead and let's do the complete opposite of that, shall we? Let's do some what you got, because if there's one thing we love when we hear great comms, it's seeing gameplay. So, first up, let's go ahead and check out some precise gunplay here. We got a player named Pog Weasel.
Yo, shout out my boy Pog Weasel.
Oh no!
Okay, hang on. If we can freeze that and run it back, I'm pretty sure the game betrayed you.
I don't know if we're getting that.
I don't think we're getting all that, but
You were betrayed, man. I see a bullet. I don't feel good about this.
let's see.
No, that's
actually
what
missed.
are you talking
All
about?
right, on second thought, Pog Weasel, I'm sorry.
All right,
there's nothing I can do for you.
Okay, that's good. Not bad. Well done, Pog Weasel. Way to miss every bullet there.
He hit one.
He hit one.
Yeah.
He hit one. One very important bullet. All right, next up, we have Nay Screams with a From the Shadows here.
Hello.
Okay.
Right?
Got the eyes on the neon.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, the lower third really kind of spoils it, doesn't it?
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
That's a good TP, okay?
No.
And,
No.
Oh, he tries. Oh, he. You know what though? He went for some nerdy tech.
So the thing is, in order to make that play work, you have to click teleport.
True.
I'm
But
sure he was
didn't-
spamming MV1.
Brother, there was one thing he was doing that whole segment. It was definitely clicking the button to teleport. I tell you that right now. But my guy was like, wait a minute, I'm cooking. Wait a minute. No.
It's okay. We had 2 pros accidentally fall yesterday.
Fair enough. All right, we have another one as well. Now we get to see, you see a Sage Wall, but here's the thing. What's on the other side? Let's see what's on the other side. What is on the other
There's
side?
gonna be 5 people on the
Oh,
other
that's
side.
me. Oh my God, what?
Yo, jump scare warning. Hello.
It's like this. It's like Metal Gear Solid, like he popped up with the exclamation mark over his head immediately, And then you just got there.
That might be one of my favorite
Surprise.
clips of all time. That's awesome.
That actually.
That was on a gun. I mean, they all had guns on the other side. There wasn't like
respect
an
that.
eco or
the
anything
team
like that.
that rides to Sage Wall together kills
Vibes
together.
I haven't seen that strat since 2020. Like,
That's
that's a
very
throwback.
true. That's like day one. We just got the game. Wait, I can go over the wall. No way. That really did feel like that. Thanks for the throwback, even if it was not intended. All right, now we've got one more creative way to get a kill on Abyss. Idio, what is happening here? No.
Wait a second.
No.
Oh, he's looking at the ground so that they don't know that they can see him.
No way. No.
Yeah. Because Yoru ult, like the thing that comes around you on the enemy team, that's when Yoru has eyes on you.
Right,
so
line
like
of sight.
face in the ground is trying not to reveal that.
But I love the fact that he thought he had him, turns around, and then gets popped immediately.
Yo, that's tough. There was a flash in the inventory and everything.
That was great.
That was a
For
cool
puns
idea.
and buns,
Yeah.
GG.
That's
Cool idea, tough execution though.
definitely what I would have done. For sure, I would have been like, guys, I got the play. Get to the back of the wall, just get absolutely popped. Unbelievable stuff. Thank you guys so much for sending all that good stuff in. Hopefully you guys continue to send us more. You can stay active with us on socials. Use VCT Americas. Send us your clips. We'd love to hear from you and see what shenanigans you get off to. But let's go ahead and talk about this matchup because we are going to start things off with Leviatán. Now, this team, they qualified. They're sitting pretty. But see, here's the fascinating part about this squad is that, and we talked about this a few times. I've seen podcasts, people talk about it. Has Leviatán been truly tested yet? That is the question on our minds. And I have a feeling today we're really going to get an answer to that.
And I think more specifically in stage 2, right?
Yes.
Because this team, like, their strength of schedule was so front-loaded into stage 1 that they were so dominant back then. We knew they were a great team. Then, of course, underperformed. Come playoffs, come Shanghai. And now in stage 2, yeah, they haven't dropped a map, but I don't feel like they've played the strongest competition. I mean, even yesterday against Crew, I would rate Crew as the weakest team in our top 4 yet. So this match today is the one that locks them in as potentially the best team in
But
America.
does it matter how they did it, though? Because, I mean, like, Leviatán, they didn't just look good. They looked dominant. They looked in form. Does that matter?
Yeah, I think so a ton. Not just thinking about, I talked about it on the cast, not just about this tournament, not just about playoffs or the next couple of days, but looking forward into Seoul, looking forward into how the rest of that tournament run will go, because we often mention that VALORANT is such a heavy momentum-based game.
Yeah.
And if you're able to hit your stride, and yes, maybe it's against weaker competition, which the truth is, it is against weaker competition, but you're stomping teams that you should be stomping, and yeah, you might get pushed a little bit more, but that's momentum that you ride well into the rest of the year, and that's when it matters most.
Yeah, well, let's actually hear from the IGL King standing by with Elizabeth to get his thoughts ahead of today's matchup.
Now, King, with Lev's schedule in stage 2, do you think your team has been truly, completely, fully tested by the other teams you faced?
I mean, I feel like we've been dominating everyone, so people might think that we haven't been tested, but it's just that we've been playing insane. But obviously now we're going to play against G2 and probably the strongest team we're going to face until now.
Well, that's my next question for you is, G2 and Lev are in the conversation for being the best team in America, as the top 2 for sure. Where do you think Lev lands in that conversation?
I mean, we're one of the best teams in the region right now, up there with G2, so obviously like a top 2 guaranteed.
I'm going to ask you, are you better than G2?
I mean, of course.
Of course. Well, that's my next question for you. My last one, rather, is that the only America's team to have beaten you, and since I believe Shanghai, or in your stage here, is G2. So are you going into this as a revenge match?
I mean, I never think about like, I want to beat them because they beat me. I'm just like, at a certain point, we've been dominating everyone. I want to dominate them also, so it's going to be fun.
Well, best of luck and fun.
Oh. Dude, that's a nice mouse pad.
That really is. Liz out there causing problems.
That was the artisan pad. You could tell it was in the next case. I know exactly what that was.
And you know a thing or two about mouse pads. I learned, so today I learned. So that actually is kind of cool. That being said, though, now here's the thing. Leviatán, flawless, as we had talked about, right? Ito Pata, the coach coming into this team, has been a big, big contributor to that. I talked to a lot of the players. They've all expressed the same thing as well, Ender.
And it's the timeline of when he stepped up into the head coach role, right? Coming out after Shanghai, after they disappointed. Lots of high expectations for Leviatán, did not live up to those internationally. But since he has stepped to the helm for this team, they have been absolutely lights out, coordinating their plays so well together. One of the first things we heard Ito talking about in those interviews, start of stage 2, was, hey, we wanted us to be fighting way better together. And the way they have coordinated plays amongst each other has been dominant.
Yeah, it truly has.
I mean, you can tell how some of that confidence with Ito has bled into the players as well. Even King, just honestly being like, yeah, we're playing against maybe weaker teams, but honestly, we're playing insane. And that's why it feels like we've been so dominant. When you carry that kind of swagger, that comes from the top, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's somebody who's instilling that sort of mentality into the program from the very beginning, and that's something that bleeds and permeates into the rest of the way the players approach the map.
The two biggest improvements I have seen that Ito has brought to this team has been in their retakes. I think, especially like on Icebox, that's their signature map, but the way they retake into the A site is just so clean, coordinating high-low swings together. It's been fantastic. And their late rounds on both sides, right, attack and defense. I think their late round communication must be elite because the way they're holding complementary angles to one another makes it very hard for other teams to get back into rounds.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. You also happen to have a lot of individuals that are popping off, and one of them in particular, we talk about him all the time, it's Icebox. Now, he, of course, made it his mission to make top 3 so that he could bring, his former teammate Saucy to Seoul. That's what he said. He's got his boys back. So now they're all going to be taking a trip over there. But individually speaking, though, I mean, look, let's just, cut to the chase here. Icebox has been magical. He's been great. He's been Icebox. You couldn't have asked
He's the best player in Americas.
You couldn't have asked for a better situation here. But what I didn't expect when I was watching the games yesterday, that Tex, he could fire. He could shoot that sheriff like nobody business.
I mean, if you just look at the stats next to each other, I think there was 3 kills separating the two of them. Icebox had 40 kills over the 2 games. Tex had 37. Like, Tex was putting up obscene numbers for his role.
Yeah, and I love how I've watched this kid develop over the years because he genuinely does not care about people's opinions. He doesn't care about the way he's perceived or anything like that. He just kind of stays to his own lane, moisturized, unbothered, the whole thing, and he's just gonna like frag out and do his own thing, and he continues to improve week over week. So I think there were a lot of, I mentioned this on the cast yesterday too, when they announced that he was gonna be the addition to the squad, there were a lot of questions like, you've built a super team. Is Tex gonna be the weaker part of this chain? And he has just given that the finger.
No, he has seen, continued growth as a player as well, Ender.
Yeah, I mean, even just looking at his performance over the course of the year, like big bump up into Shanghai, where again, Leviatán didn't perform particularly well, but he was doing well himself. Now a Leviatán that's winning every single game, and he is still maintaining those numbers when he was having to do a lot of heavy lifting internationally.
Yeah, I think we quickly realized that the individuals were not the issue with the team, but it was more them figuring out how all the pieces coordinate and combine with
They were kind of loose cannons at times during stage 1, especially when they were running over the competition. But that brings me back to how much good work Ito has done with the pieces of Icebox, with the pieces of a Tex that has blown up over the course of the year. They're now coordinating together, and that team looks near unbeatable.
Yeah, it's quite scary here. But if there's one thing that we love here at Americas, it's some storylines. It's some good meat on the bone. Kind of like the way that Tex is going to be facing off against his former teammates in the guard. Yeah, that's right. We went all the way back over there.
Wow.
and we're making this personal. No, but, Tex does have familiarity with these players without a doubt.
Of course, right? They lifted the trophy in Ascension. Of course, in the offseason, there was so much confusion around what was going to end up happening with the guard. Tex got this opportunity to come to Leviatán and spread his wings and make sure he was going to be on the international stage, or on the internationals stage, rather, here in Americas. Now he's going to Seoul, and quite frankly, it's amazing to see that guard core did find their way, make sure they had a team made a spot here in the big leagues. And now they're against each other for a shot. One of those sides is going to be in the finals a year after they won Ascension? What?
Storyline.
And for as much as like they can be cool and like still get on and they're still brothers and homies, whatever, a win like this is something you can hang over the other guys. I mean, 9 times out of 10, cool, we're all good, but you remember when we beat you guys to get the grand finals in Americas, and then, I dropped 40 on you?
That's a nice feeling.
You don't let that
40.
go.
Imagine someone drops 40 in this game, I'd be crazy. But it is very possible. But you know what, though? Another part of this, too, is Texas' former head coach, Josh RT, actually expressed how much it meant for him to make it to Champions. That oftentimes kind of gets lost in all of the talk about, ult usage usage and ability, you know, like macro understandings, the nerdy stuff. It's the human element as well. Like for a guy like Josh being a coach of this team, that meant a lot for him to be able to qualify, and now he gets to go to Korea.
Yeah, and I think when you think about the year that he's had, really the entire timeline that he's had, I mean, for him to have to navigate everything that gone on during Ascension, transitioning over to franchising, and then the addition of Icy and all of the questions that went around that, and was that the right pick? Where did you even get this guy from? What are you doing to your roster? Like, for a team to be so just fully focused on their vision, not concerned about anything else that's going on, is really impressive. And again, much like Ito on the other side of the stage today, that takes leadership from the front. Yeah. When you've got a bunch of really young guys who, yes, are much more mature than they seem, you've got to be able to influence that in a very positive way, and I think Josh has done that in a tremendous manner.
Yeah, he truly has. I mean, we've talked with Josh plenty. You can get that vibe from him, but also you can see how much this whole thing means to both of these teams. It's really awesome that we're at this point right now. But for more, let's go ahead and head on over, to Elizabeth, standing by with Josh RT himself.
Now, Josh, you just qualified for VALORANT Champions in Seoul yesterday, and you tweeted that when you found out that Champions would be in Seoul, that you made it your mission to go to this event because you wanted to see your family again in South Korea. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so my mom's side of the family is all in Korea, and my dad's side is all in the States. So, like, every once in a while throughout my life, like, I visited Korea, and so I just wanted to see my cousins again. And, you know, as someone that's, like, on the older side of the sport, like doing something like this and like going to an event like that kind of legitimizes like in the eyes of my family. So it's always kind of cool to see. Like I plan on like getting my aunt there and like, you know, my uncles to see, you know, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Now, you won Ascension last year, the biggest tournament for challengers. Do you think G2 can do it again, but this time on the biggest stage in the world, back-to-back, essentially, you know, champions of their respective circuits?
The competition's tough. I can't like be fully confident to say like I'll do it again. It's more like, you know, we'll just see. I think the preparations has been good. The boys have been like mentally sharp and really together. So I think the chips are starting to stack for us, and I think we have a really good shot to it.
Well, speaking on behalf of everyone, so happy that you made champs and happy you can see your family again. Best of luck.
Thank you. We're looking forward to seeing what both of these teams can do when they take the stage earlier on. But you can see behind us here that G2 decided to get a little creative with Abyss. Abyss was not their pick, as we had noted yesterday, but yet they busted out this very unique composition, and of course the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of cool things about it. The one thing I very quickly want to highlight before we get really into the nuance of it is I love the fact that we're starting to see walls introduced on this map. Just the other night, I nerded out for entirely too many hours in a custom by myself, just kind of like theory crafting around, does Harbor work? Does Viper work? How does this all combine together? I love that we're starting to see that work.
Yeah, and when everyone else is playing Ascent Light compositions with single smokes. Honestly, what G2's read on this map has been so different, because other teams, talking to any pro, they're all saying it is an attack-sided map. Attackers are doing very well at the moment. But this comp from G2 so heavily leans into the defensive side. The stall power they have on the B site between Killjoy, Viper, global Astra smokes that could also be stuns or pulls, not to mention fast rotates from a Yoru too.
Like, so freaking big.
It's crazy, especially when so many teams are playing just a pretty heavy exec style on one of those sides of the map. Yoru's ability to pivot between the two is
Are there
strong.
any potential flaws with this before we show things
I think the big thing is they don't have a jet, and we've already seen that jets with an op in hand are taking over the map.
Yeah, and I do think Yoru can help fit that a little bit, but you're right. I mean, there's just no way a jet no way a Yoru kid with an op can hold a candle to a jet doing the same.
Yeah, you know, you can still TP out, but the trade ability of it isn't as locked in as jet. I will say, though, I love seeing the Yoru clone, because so many teams are playing the Cypher on this map, and the Yoru clone is just busting the Cypher setups down.
Yeah, so let's dive into some of these plays, right? I understand you have something you wanted to show us off.
Come on with me.
You have a minion with you, so you can go ahead and
I told him to wear
use
yellow, and he's in pink and blue.
And instead I wore yellow, so...
I missed the assignment. Wait, does this mean you should be the minion here?
Don't worry about it.
I do look like a minion, to be fair. But.
I'm going to talk about how Jonah P locks down the fort over on this B site, and it's using that Viper that not a lot of people are playing at the moment. The first thing I want to take a look at here is the orb that he drops in the middle of site here, because basically what it does is it gives you so much maneuverability around the site, whether it's your teammates trying to flood into the site, whether it's you escaping after you get a kill over on the right-hand side here. I think it's just very, very effective to move around. And Cypher, you have to drop down 2 cages to block off that same type of distance. So this is a lot better.
And if we can very quickly, I'd love to show my point of view while the orb is up, just so you guys can see what that looks like from the attacker side as they're trying to scale up onto site. Like, this is the orb that you're left facing. I don't know if you guys can see that right now.
That's all right.
Yeah.
They got it.
I'm shooting you as the
they saw it.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about this wall here, too, which is a little bit particular. You want to make sure that it has this chunk pop-up that comes out on the right side for a little bit more coverage. But what it allows you to do is actually play in the front here and isolate the angle. Because when you're not playing with the Viper, all of a sudden you're fully exposed over here, right? So you can't actually hold these off angles because you're getting shot, you know? And with the combination of this wall and the Killjoy utility, you've got a lot of great coverage.
I mean, it's so smothering to try to get through. Again, if you decide that you want to tank that wall, you're going to get vulnerable, and you've got a turret that's sitting up on top of Jenny right here that's going to instantly let you know that someone's coming through. You pop the mollies, and you're essentially melted as soon as you come in. And then you can also reposition the mollies in a couple of different places. You can have one a little bit further back, one towards main site. But the idea is this Killjoy setup in combination with the Viper utility makes it nigh impossible to get onto site with.
And if you come back to my POV for a second, again, that Killjoy turret, what it's looking at is anyone stepping through this wall, and it also can see over the Viper wall here. So an attacker can't just jump up into this corner all for free as I die. Don't worry about that.
He's got the hacks.
All good. But yeah, it gives you full coverage. And I also just love the fact that this wall allows you to actually get an op into play, right? You can't really hold out here up on this high angle when, you know, you don't have a smoke, because you can get shot from so many different angles. But they can throw up this wall, and they brought in Icy just up on this line. Jonah P himself actually loves to play up here as well, just holding on to a lot of these forward lines. And it was really effective for him. Whenever his teammates were leaving him alone on this site, he would post up either here watching that forward line or up on this bookshelf here and just be very content to hold down the fort on his own. And he was dominating that entire game.
And the very last thing I very quickly want to say about Jonah P's positioning there on the bookshelf that you're referring to is oftentimes we've seen teams like to flood out towards B or try to split in through B if they have enough mid control. The alarm bot on the minimap, the one thing that we haven't really touched on, helps cover you in that regard if you are going to get flooded in through Worm. So it's a really nice setup that they have here. And again, it's very defensive minded, as you mentioned.
I absolutely love what he was doing. And I think that wraps up what we need to accomplish here on the demo station.
All right,
Let's
look
come
at
on
that.
back here.
I won't lie, I'm a little bummed that I wasn't invited to the,
Get over it.
I didn't get a PC. You know, at least could have set your boy up with Valorant on console.
We literally know you play console. Stop yapping.
You know what I mean? For that. All right, guys, let's go ahead, though, and continue this conversation, because another player that, we've been isolating a lot on the individuals, but one individual yesterday, the Professor, my man popped off yesterday. Jonah P looked phenomenal. Continues to just be the gift that keeps on giving for this G2 lineup since the guard days. He's always been that cool hand for this team.
His Viper has just been absolutely lights out, especially on this Lotus map. Like, he was crushing on the defensive side. His C holds, I don't think anyone was getting past. And I just love the way that G2 called their defensive side to never fast rotate off sites, because if this guy was leaving sites, they'd be losing a lot more rounds. But the fact he sticks on him, you're never beating him.
Yeah, even you just saw that, like, one tap with the gloop in his face onto Cryo from across the map with the Sheriff. Like, sometimes you do things perfectly by the book and they work out well, and then other times you kind of roll the die a little bit. You get away with one. Jonah P has been the embodiment of both in the most perfect manner possible.
He's got to play the lotto. Is what basically I need to figure out.
No, he's so, but it's not even luck. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's the fact, similar to what I was talking about on Abyss, where his smokes give him that ability to like move so much around the site. You will see how he is able to shift after taking a fight, use those smokes to reposition quickly, and then take another fight. It's so good. It's so smart how he's able to move and isolate those ones.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff from Jonah P. We'll see what he can do, and of course the rest of the G2 and Leviathan squads as they take the stage. But we're running out of time, so let's go ahead and take a look at the predictions from the broadcast team. See who has predicted what. We love these. And okay, so first game, I think I expected that, a little bit of a split decision there for G2, but siding I think more with Leviathan, and then everyone going with 100 Ds, which I completely understand given what we saw yesterday against
Crew just been on a slide. They're gonna have to. It would be a shock if they won, honestly. But that's just calling it the way it is.
Yeah, and I think on the other side of things, as we think about the first match, we mentioned it earlier, I don't think we've ever seen this level of dominance from a team before across the entire year for Leviathan, and there's really nothing to suggest that they're slowing down.
The thing is, I voted for Lev, but I think the guy to watch is Icy today, because I think Icy has had some actually really great games. But even yesterday, when they're cruising, didn't look all too hot. You know, a bit of an off day for him. He's going up against Icebox, the best player in Americas, the world for my money. And honestly, he needs to have a big day. If he can have a good day, I think G2 can very handily win this series, but that's a tough call.
It's going to be a good one, folks. I'm excited for this. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road because we don't have a lot of time left in the clock. It's going to be Leviathan taking on G2 Esports. And then after that, we get Crew Visa taking on 100 Thieves. And we will finally determine who are the 4 teams that we're sending to Champions Seoul. VCT Americas starts right now.
No, Sherra no consigue nada a raíz de eso. 1 por 1 por ahora. No se le ha caído fuera. Icebox es siendo agresivo de Chan. No se le esperaba para nada. Y es otro más. Solamente kills. Si está el defuser por parte de Furia.
No huge mistakes here for G2, and they're burning the clock down now. And they're starting to hold the torch to the feet of Crew.
I think we are playing really good as a team now, and we are playing really good individually as well.
Oh my goodness. Lev are on a warpath.
We still have some mistakes, but we are working on it.
Icebox! 3 to the round! Come here, buddy! Oh! That's it!
We've always known they can be capable of dominant wins like that, but so are we.
Push towards that spawn. Oh my!
We've 2-0'd Sentinels, NRG, 100 Thieves.
The headshot from Trent, and they get it done!
They are a very good team. The IGL Valley is really good.
10 seconds left.
I think it's just going to come down to the day and who's more prepared and who's feeling it that day, and it's going to be us.
Riot Games Arena, es hora de mandar a un equipo a la gran final. Y ellos lo hacen una y otra vez. ¡Es Leviatán!
And now let's bring out their opponents. Make some noise for G2 Esports!
Let's forget about what you heard, probably ain't true. This ain't go-to, cause you know it's G2. Can't be called a newcomer. We've been up for several summers, seeking how to step in commas. If you with us, buy the bundle. Say you should buy the bundle. Barely time to buy the bundle. For this ton of errors rumble. Cause you know we titans in this game, ain't no contest. If we take it to the game, turn a Wild West. We ain't faking when I claim it's a wild threat. No rook, we been a vet. Now check the mindset by the name of G2. How to take over the world, how we come through. You just follow in the herd, we don't have to. Let's forget about what you heard, probably ain't true. This ain't go-to, cause you know it's G2. How to take over the world, how we come through. You just follow in the herd, we don't have to. Let's forget about what you heard, probably ain't true.
When we saw the makeup of the bracket, this was the matchup that we were all eagerly anticipating because G2 Esports, not only have they seen significant growth throughout the year, but the way that they are playing right now in playoffs is unbelievable. And for Leviathan, the story has been practically the same thing. These two teams are hitting a growth spurt at the best possible time.
Everyone stop what you're doing. Sit here for the next 3 hours because we're about to see some elite Valorant.
I couldn't agree more.
I hate the David versus Goliath metaphor because I think it's painfully overused.
It's not in this
painfully
one.
overused. But I don't know. Think about when this Leviathan roster was built. What was the intention? championships, right?
Yeah.
The expectation was you're playing for hardware every single time you're out on the stage.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you've got his G2 squad who's been put together from the very beginning, has gone through the muck and mire of Tier 2 and have climbed their way out. So in a lot of ways, there really is this like big giant and some little guy.
Ideological thing as well, right? Because you got a team that stuck together the whole time versus a team that was kind of combined together this year.
And the ultimate irony is that G2 is the team that's already won a championship last year in Ascension, right? This core of players.
That's right. Let's not forget, this is a team that came in through the Ascension program. They are the highest placing Ascension team across all the regions, to my knowledge. No doubt, right? But to have done that, and when, you know, in most cases you see like, you know, the rookies, quote unquote, come in, they oftentimes play like that. Not here. G2 does not play like that whatsoever. Here's your series layout: Icebox, Bind, and Haven if necessary.
Yeah, a bit interesting seeing that Abyss get floated. That was the standard for these two teams up until the second phase and getting banned away. But I was wondering,
Smart that left band.
I was wondering if G2 would want to pick it. But the thing is, you don't have tape on Leviathan really there. And of course, Lev would have some tape.
You don't want to give any openings, right? I feel like in those situations, I know this is going to sound really redundant, but if Icebox is put in a situation where you can just freely pick Jet and then there's like nothing really around there, like he'll just do whatever the hell he wants. So you really don't want to give him the agency to be able to do that on a rather untested map. As there you can see the King of Lounging just chilling out, getting ready for this one.
This guy's kingdom is getting too big. He's too good at everything. If lounging is part of it as well,
He's taking lounging, aiming,
spinning,
underwater
stuffed animals. He's taking it all.
I will say, you know, as much as we talk about playoffs and we talk about champs and how, okay, they've qualified and that's what it is they're going for, this, that, and the other, I wonder, you know, I've had a couple of conversations with coaches and pro players alike, like, yes, Soul is important. Soul is the big ticket, but to be able to walk away with this trophy that's in front of us right now means so much to these guys. You even talk about how things have played out early in the year. Was able to walk away with the Stage 1 championship, hoping that they can do it again. Like, there's a lot to be played for here, just in Americas. Even, you know, before even thinking about the international stage. So, yes, it may just be they've already got their tickets to Seoul punched and bags packed and, you know, what have you, this, that, and the other, but they want that trophy right there.
Yeah, no one's packed their bags. They've been scrimming for the last, you know, month and a half nonstop.
They thought about packing their bags, kind of like the way I've been. Yeah. But in any case, though, here comes the Age of Select. And, you know, again, it's Icebox. So we know what we're going to get here, really, from Leviathan and G2 for that matter.
No surprises. The big thing is, though, that IC doesn't play the Jet on this map. G2 are rocking in with the Gecko. Has always been for them, so they don't play with the Dive Agent. And honestly, I think this is a bit concerning going up against Leviathan because Icebox is going to be frying.
Yeah, but I also think that this is such their identity, right? You think about how Valorant likes to call and how they like to play, it makes sense.
Well, folks, this is it. Riot Games Arena, make some dang noise, because it's now time to get ready for this match we've all been waiting for. Let's send it over to our completely auraless casters. It's
bro.
Wild allegation.
What is this slander, man? I mean, maybe for Josh, I can understand. It gives off Short King energy, but me, okay, listen. The stage is set, and I'm not just talking the boxing match is going to be occurring between me and production and whoever wrote up the prompter. But here, for the grand finals, which is what both of these teams are fighting for, listen, the tickets are punched in, really, for champs, right? They're not playing for that anymore. That's kind of at the back of their minds. What they are playing for, though, is to be crowned the champions and winners of the Americas Stage 2 playoffs. And that is what these teams are fighting for. As I already said, that grand final spot.
I think there is no doubt that these are the two best teams in Americas that are going to be looking to head towards champs, but also that are currently fighting to lift that trophy. It's a beautiful one that's on the line this year as well, and Aspas hoisted it last year too as part of Loud, winning in the International League here in Americas. What a place to begin on Icebox. I think the map pool in general looking great for Leviathan.
It's going to be a standard affair, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. At least as we set the sights over towards Icebox as well. And G2, we already know what they're going to be up to. Always methodical, always cautious at the beginning of these rounds. Don't want to give away any of these advantages. Just trying to bait out a potential approach and peek for the information.
Look at Leviathan, though. They've realized that this is a group up over towards the A side very early on. You've got King of Mazzino pushing out B. Broken turret.
So the Utah's going to be unloaded here. Flashed up towards the back of the site. Tex could not evacuate, couldn't evade it. Jonah P as well is going to cement himself into this 4 position. And the flank is given up entirely from Lev. They're actually going to be regrouping back up together, just trying to play this one forwards. But again, Aspas is committed, catches the cross, pass and away. There was no trade in sight. Unconventional, really, from G2. Expect that to be really the building blocks of this team. Biding their time now, waiting to regroup as the util is now back online, sending it flying forwards, and a fight is caught by G2 out towards the back of the side. Icy even just lucky just to get the one. Jonah P and Trent and accounted for. Off to the side themselves. Icebox dropping down and just cannot land it. Not with a share of bullets going wildly. And now in the favor of G2, a pistol round win.
And it's Jonah P that picks up 3 to put G2's pistol round on the board. Jonah P was playing phenomenally in Shanghai and then coming forwards just in the game yesterday, where Icy cooled off ever so slightly compared to his excellent performance that we'd recently seen. But Jonah, undetected, uncleared, picked up all of the crucial players there. And this one, a rematch of the last time that Leviatán have lost to an Americas team, actually, way back. Stage 1 playoffs, lower bracket final. G2 were winning all of the pistols there. 9 out of 10 in our BO5 went the way of G2. It was still an extremely close match.
Sure, these teams are closely matched even now, right? Titan to test this Leviatán team. G2, I mean, haven't been getting a lot of respect often, but with every win that they accrue, you're going to start respecting them a little bit more.
It's undeniable at this point. I don't think there's many people that would even argue that G2 are not a top 2 team in Americas. Look at the depth that Leaf has been able to get. This 4-1 default where you send Leaf forwards. And G2 have been running this after winning the pistol almost every single time they've played. And it's still finding value for them. It's just a very solid strategy.
Up and over. Open sight. Really just a fight to be taken and one out there. Obviously only committing towards the pistol. Swing from Mazzino, just seeking if he can deny the plan or at least potentially get that pick off that he was looking for. But as the investment relatively minor. Icebox is worried about the incoming possibility of a flank. I think that was just pressure being laid in by Trent. Now going to be rotating that to the back of his team. They are low, but leaving it just down to Icebox now. Still, could do quite a lot from this spot. He's still worried.
Icy has a Bulldog, 1 away from Thrash. A kill or a death gets that online. And G2 would be looking phenomenal for the bonus round. Will Aspas provide?
A little bit of hip fire action. He'll be able to clean up maybe a kill or 2. Rounds going to be lost at this point though. Time running far too low. So G2 going to be up that too.
But that does mean that Icy's got to play for an ult orb in the next round. And Leviatán can try to craft some strategies around denying that. It's difficult when G2 plays so slowly. If you're looking to try to fight on both outer extremities of the map on defense, you're going to get overstretched. I also think it's a really interesting map pool that we've got here today, Brent.
Yeah.
G2 choosing to attack into Leviatán's bind as our second map, rather than seeing what they've got prepped on Abyss. G2 also choosing to end, I believe, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, on Haven rather than Ascent. It sent me for a loop there, what we've got in the top left. I'll have to double check.
We will have to double check that one, but pretty sure it was Haven. Aspas, early fight and engagement for him. He's going to be opted into that straight away. Does draw blood with Leaf dropping. No one's being pushed back away from this though. G2 still want to commit. The drone up and over, missing the tag. Aspas will always be keen to disrespect you.
Right here.
Going to try and take those fights forward and often, especially with a rifle in hand. Dart has to be dodged and avoided as well. It's off angle, spraying them down, expecting that re-peek. And it's all in the back of his mind. He knows exactly the positions to be playing. 3 in the round already for him.
And dodge on the Thrash too, so not even getting punished by that.
He's been leading most of those statistical metrics, but finally shut down in the moment.
Chose to make the play there that could have ended the round instantly, but he's left his team in a 2v2.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of damage done to Icy here. In this spot, Jonah P. Gonna be the one to take that first contact. Again, there's so many healthy targets though. Half armored at one shot from the elbow would do it, Tix! He survives, lands those shots up. Leaves it alone to Icy in this 1v2. A quick tap as well. Icy, issue not being forced out. ADS stuff, damage done, but he doesn't really have the gun or the weaponry forward. Again, just has to peek out, jiggle, and he's just on a sliver of health. It's enough to be guarded over the shoulder by Tex. The fuse online. 2-1 being that scoreline. Lev finally with that round on the board.
It's a pretty damaging bonus. G2 had chances to win it. They invest in ultimate, but end up doing a lot of economical damage too. I think Lev will be happy to have just survived that. And once more, it's Aspas that delivers the crucial kills to put his team in a winnable situation. with that economic damage done, and Leaf is anticipating people being on light armor on the other side. It's actually only King.
Playing for the Orb as well, Aspas. To earn up the Blade Storm. Big group over G2. It's all 5 of them. Nobody holding! Mazzino applying constant pressure. The Phantom spam just unpunishable. Burns himself a cheeky one. It's a nice one to set the scene. G2 still going to be pushing up though. Updraft over the top, Aspas! Claiming one after another. Dropping any adversary that steps to him. And he wants to just take away any possibilities of a G2 win. That's dominance, overwhelming aggression by Leviathan.
So beautifully played. You'd think that with the pace, the slower tempo that G2 play at, they actually wouldn't even be offering Aspas those opportunities. But a couple of people just to the right side of yellow, and Aspas is able to pick one off. And then as he dashes away from that extra swing, he plays Mazzino in.
Spike down, B.
Beautifully done there. And those are the kind of rounds that Leviathan have been pulling out against everybody in the league, where they just look dominant. Like there's nothing you can do to stop them. Unless you're taking out Aspas instantly, he's getting kills and also making so much space for the rest to trade off.
He's going to take these liberties. Outlaw in his hands. Oh, nice return on the fire.
That's what you have to be doing. Otherwise, Aspas is going to push further and further, test those boundaries.
Doesn't get away with it, does he? Leaf is also quite eager. This guy tagged up though. Have to stop himself. Head's barely poking over. Slight exchange of the bullets. Repositioned though, these low players. Com is pretty hard committed off to the corner here. Players are being picked apart. That was up through mid with Mazzino dropping down. All it's going to be asked for. They are falling apart actually. Leviathan takes a little bit of AD in terms of the rifle play on hand. He's going to do a lot now to try and push this one back. Flash over as a pause to score, but they don't expect this position already. Valen crept his way up even deeper onto these sightlines. Plan can now go online, picking up the Orb, no time, but that one's still dropping. King sensing it, there's definitely chances, can't adjust it. Not with the rifle, and a thrifty win, but G2 puts them back in a driving seat.
What a round to pick up. Is that the difference it makes when you're able to take out Aspas early on and prevent him from going on a tear against you? It was an insane shot that Leaf hits. I mean, look at that. Reacting to an unexpected position and being able to clean it up, and then the rest of the team is able to go forward with Sheriffs. Important final kill there as well from Jonah P, who continues to have huge impact. Does that temper the level of aggression that Aspas is showing, or just cause him to double down?
Backing away for now. Doesn't want anything to do with it.
So G2 got punished for throwing this cascade over towards B in a prior round. Mazzino just spammed through it, got a kill out the back of it. This time, Valen throws it, nobody following behind it, making it feel like it could be B pressure. But the thing that Lev do so well on the defense sides against every team is that they're always more curious than other people. They don't give the respect to attacking utility. If they don't hear anything, they go and have a look. And King had some decent idea that it wasn't serious pressure on B.
Spotting ahead there, I believe, of Icy with the drone, but you're right. I mean,
it's just going to keep the stack in the right place on A.
Yeah. That conversation about, you know, the defensive setups by Leviathan, one of the better teams for it. Dash, no value to be gained by Aspas. He was expecting a timing to be taken, but G2 are always ones just to be quite quirky with it. Never expected when they're going to be hitting it through, and now though, a mosh pit, Hunger the Reckoning, it's a big indicator. Alongside the flash as well, it's all being sent flying forwards. Hunter's Fury, this is the respawn. Com is looking for a kill or two, at least gets the one time. Trip, still avoiding it. And would stand his ground against it, and now the flood is called. Lev, who would have played this one with the bodies into the fight and the fray, taking it forwards, past and away, still. It's a kill feed that is filling entirely up Wingman. No spike into his hands. They slow it down once more, calling for it with 12 seconds onto the clock. It's left it just down to Com. He's the one who's got to respond to all of this pressure. Shock darts flying forwards. Cove just denying any sort of bullets that fly forwards. A 1v3. Thrash is avoided. Spotting the head, spotting the bullets. Looking for a kill or two. This is chaos incarnate. He's dropped down to 5 HP. Barely any weaponry. And Valen is the one to clean it up.
What a masterful call there, and usage of the clock by Valen again. The pause in the round, the pump fake, that drawing in of the Leviathan retake, and G2 so ready for it, punishing all of those slight, minimal overextensions. these pushes back in from the retakers, they're not that much overstepping themselves. But when Aspas and Mazzino swing, they're taken piece by piece apart by the G2 players, ready for that. And Lev going to a timeout here. They had the stack in the right place. The ult from Com was absolute perfection, the way he trapped Trent in the corner. And yet they still weren't able to get it done because they expected G2 to be scrambled with only 15 seconds on the clock. Yeah. This team is immaculate under time pressure, G2. You can't rely on the fact that the clock's going to run out on them. Exactly. They squeeze every second out of it.
They're so well-tempered in those moments. They don't get flustered like a lot of other teams. Like you said, they squeeze every single bit that you can get out of the seconds there. This early beginning for Leviatán hasn't gone their way. The economy hasn't been built up. A large reason why this team is so good on the defensive side, partly is because they can get an operator into Aspas's hands most of the time. The economy's been taking a tumble pretty consistently. He hasn't been able to build up to it. Usually it's a big tool that they use to build around with a defensive protocol, stacking plays onto one side of the map. It's been a bit of a struggle, and that's what this timeout will be hoping to alleviate.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the Leviatán economy because you would expect one of them to be saving up for that operator. G2 with an opportunity to start building up to some massive ultimates of their own. Leafs and Trents are almost destined to come online at the end of this round. Cascade starts in the opposite direction there for Valen, as if they're taking early A control, and in fact, just waiting to punish any B aggression on the eco.
Yeah.
And at the same time, heading into a bit of a stack here from Lev.
Lev are just trying to make sure that they hide their intent. Just being spotted, that's Mazzino. Only one that fires a couple of bullets as well. Gone for a bit of a re-peek of his own as Util out into the hands of multiple players here, but he does overstep himself in the end, and the weaponry just not quite good to follow up and through. Mazzino will be dropped. Spotting signs of life from them. Out in the open, Aspas. Again, he was hoping that somebody would just walk straight into that crosshair. Pulling multiple players now. Lev losing control of the A site.
But look at Leviatán looking to try to re-peek again. Always looking to see whether G2's attacking utility is real or not. Does it have a serious threat behind it? Other G2 players looking to go forward. I mean, look at both teams expecting something from the other. G2 ready for this re-aggression.
Both going for it for the same time. Just again, spotting these players out. They all topple and fall.
What a read.
Yeah,
G2. Absolutely immaculate read.
And you're seeing the stylistic difference just kind of, I think, made manifest in this map. And you probably see it in many others as well, the deeper we get into this series. But G2 will always just try and pull you. They'll try and pull you in, going for that mid-round information. That proactivity, they won't shy away from it. Often they're going to get rewarded for playing aggressively, pushing Aspas into deep positions. Normally, nobody can hold a candle to it.
And of course, if Leviatán don't go for those defensive re-clears, that's where Valen thrives, because he ends up having so much more information in the late round. If you just give ground and aren't willing to take the risk of walking back into areas, then you might as well not be playing the game. You're just going to allow G2 to run all over you. So Lev have to find those risks, but they also have to find them at either unexpected timings or with excellent utility, or just when G2 are making that rotate to the other side of the map.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be not just a test for Valen's calling, but a serious test for Leviatán. They have not played against a team anywhere near as good as G2 since they got back from Shanghai.
Yeah, hard agree. I mean, this team, I think, they've been just trying to shake off those untested allegations almost. They've just been chasing them around because they've just been dealing with any of their competition.
Oh, they've been
single-handedly. I mean, they've been flattening everybody. It's 2-0s, the way that they've been cleaning up most of the competition. But, you know, I don't think we saw the best crew the other day. So again, the allegations kind of stand. And this time they are up against this heavy hitter in the form of G2, and so far punishing them. This is the important round here. And now, what the timeout was being called for Leviatán. Investment with the weaponry, operator in Aspas's hands, but a lot of ults for G2.
A Nanoswarm thrown there from Leaf, a very standard one onto pipes. When it gets broken, you're thinking, okay, maybe somebody's playing aggressive in that kind of area. Aspas, in fact, on top of Jenny, looking for a pick. And Valen seems to have got the read on it again, just because that early utility was broken on A. They're headed towards a B split, and this is going to catch King under huge amounts of pressure.
Yeah, already walking up straight into him as well. King, just the one before the trade comes online again. Might have spot those players just before he dropped lockdown. That is incredibly committed. Many angles you're going to have to defend into that spot as well. I mean, Icy's like, all right, mate, I'm leaving you to your own devices.
But at the same time, look how far back the defenders are. no contest possible for the plant. And even getting into a retake position is very difficult. So many spots you have to clear.
Every single step of the way. Leviatán can't get a foothold, man. They cannot stand against this. Still, Mazino will make a good go of it. But again, it's a retake scenario. Icebox is working with that operator. It's going to slow them down once more. All that time that's been bought. Backing away. Trent also with his Hunter's Fury in his back pocket, and you can already hear it. Spike's ticking away. Options removed and limited. It doesn't matter about the Cove that's placed down as well. Can be defended against it. Valin cleaning up Mazino, drifting off to the side. Aspas, he's eager to pick up that operator again, save it into the next.
But that's a perfect round.
It is.
Lev had 3 or 4 players over towards A. I don't think Valen's got a real reason for dying there, but the economy's in a good spot, so it doesn't matter too much. But they had 3 or 4 players over towards the A side, including Aspas operator, that they've scrimped and saved just to get it into his hands. And instantly, G2 have found the weak side of the map, run a B split, and had control over huge, vast swaths of real estate. There was no opportunity for Lev to win. No opportunity for Aspas to have his impact.
It's an awkward scenario where Aspas carrying the operator into the next. Everybody has to invest up alongside him because at this point the game is getting away from them.
He's doing something very different here, though. You don't often see him playing in these kind of angles, getting drone down mid early on.
Yeah, push
so he's in front of the Viper Orb.
Turret's been broken. G2 might have been receiving a lot of this one here. They might want to speed up into it, but the pits drop down, lay it now towards this A site. And again, that pause has been inserted whether G2 want it or not.
Harbor Ult was just picked up there instead of the Thrash, so that makes it a bit more difficult to deal with King. You can use Harbor Ult against it, and look at Aspas in front of the Viper Orb in mid. Tough to deal with.
Here.
Oh, he didn't choose a timing to go for the shot.
That's awareness stuff from G2. They know that they lost control of mid prior. Obviously with the turret being broken.
And also the drone being used. I think Com's drone a bit of a tell.
Now going for another re-exploration, double dub. So many players ready to receive. It's G2 again. They bait and punish and pulling them back. And Aspas is just forced back and away. Mazino has got to do a ton and more. 2 are dropped down in the process. Spike in the hands of Wingman back. Open! Oh, just about got it. Right before the Cove ended up being propped up.
30 seconds left.
Receiving that one back and again. Dart reveals it, 2 versus 2. Valin is low. Plant online though, backs himself away again. Reckoning now available for this post plant.
I suggest you move.
It's going to be used nice and early. Just to buy them a bit of that time as well. Nobody wants to reveal themselves too early from G2, just making sure that they play this one safe. Orb up.
No charges left.
Putting the pressure now, at least with that tap. King, no. Eats a ton of damage in the process of it. Leaves it down to Aspas. Noise being made from the footsteps. Quick little tap, cutting it away. He's baiting out the peak and the response from G2. They do hand him the 1, but still time is running short. Brings it down to it, and it's ice cold from Trent. The dart reveals all. He knows he's won it. Time is on his side, and another round is inevitable. It's 7 now for G2.
I really don't think G2 could be playing much better with wall hacks on. The way in which they're rotating around the map on the attack side, finding the gaps, and understanding exactly when Lev are going to go for these defense reclears. We saw them catch the eco round defense reclear on B perfectly, all stacked up waiting for it. It's the same thing in mid again. As soon as the wall comes through and pushes Aspas away, their read on how Leviatán are playing the defense here is simple perfection.
At no point Leviatán are really able to get a foothold, stand up against most of this. Look at this util, all just being used to pressure and push away any attempt at the A orb. Thrash is also going to be used in conjunction, just trying to add up any potential impact to this one here. They do get the detainment, but there's no follow-up onto it. It's been defended, clearing a way through, up and over the ropes. There is a punish at least. Up through mid as well, looking for a bit of space. That's Jonah P. This first kill advantage, not going away at G2, but it hasn't stopped them in the past. Especially so into this map.
Jonah P is the insurance policy here. He's going to be able to give them information. Multiple players have rotated, turrets offline. You know, they can go back over to B. They know that Tex is nowhere near. As Tex starts to come back in, Jonah P's in front of the turret. Potential.
Though, yeah, they might be able to see him just poking out and away. Oh, there's shots raining down onto him. Turret still up. The worry in the back of the mind of Jonah P. Even just offloads the pit. This one's stretching off into spawn, man. Spam, straight bullets again. He's so damn weak. One single bullet potentially clear him. Icy out for the back as well. Wants to get aggressive and active into it. fight tweaking towards the back as well. That's a reckoning offloaded, but again the timing is picture perfect. You can't ask for much better gameplay than this. It's G2 running rings around this Leviathan. No time for them to catch their breath.
It's just beautiful there. If Jonah P ended up making a misstep and got caught in kitchen, okay, some part of it may have fallen to pieces, but the Professor finally falls, but he's done his damage, teaching Leviathan the holes that are rippling throughout their defensive setups. The over-rotate, the stack already on A, and then the over-rotate so that Texas Utility went offline. G2 exploiting to perfection. Even if the turret had not gone offline, Jonah already had info that B was pretty open and his team could start to make the cancel and the rotate. They're never locking themselves into only one decision. There are always options for VALORANT to choose as a plan B, plan C.
Appreciate it.
They're completely dominating Leviathan in a way that we have not seen since Lev was at Shanghai. And I also don't think the Lev are falling to pieces here. This is just masterful from G2.
Yeah, the attack's like calling, I mean. It just feels unfair, I think. Leviathan's perspective, they're going to be wondering, man. Are they in the comms? Are they in the walls?
Right there.
I don't even know about all of this. Exploiting and abusing any possible options as well. Just a pre-fire. Icebox, he's been punished for a lot of these aggressive plays, and he's making a go of things again. Tex dropped down to just double digits of how fairly there. King also has to go for that re-aggression. He needs information. At least maintain a bit of control out towards an over B.
Finally, that defense exploration finds value, but King is still battling with Icy over towards B. This could be the round for Lev, despite losing Aspas early.
Got the odds to potentially turn the tide. Zeno needs to be careful. It's barely a shoulder peeking out. And just spraying it through. Jonah P wins it with the Phantom. Cove down now. That will commit the plant. Into the play. Util's going to be delayed here. And the Hunter's Fury just a little bit off the mark. It's a lockdown. Views alongside it. Still damage done. Come! That is picture perfect as well. Lands that one right onto the mark as well. Just catching that rotation back and away. G2 left now with just two of these players left to do the most.
Nanoswarm broken. Mosh still available.
And the wall fades away though. Com was not ready for it. Up and over on top of the ropes. No adjustment, at least with the rifle. Still damage done. Tex and King low enough.
Bad plan.
Amount of damage might do it. It is a bad plan indeed. Up and over the wall into his face. Dropping down on favored. Still King gets off of it. Does it sticking down? Not expecting it! Oh, chaos in the camp of Leviathan. King not trusting, not realizing perhaps. Did he even have time?
Thinking, I think he had time there. I mean, we'll have to watch it back from his POV perhaps, but the Red Bull clutch comes through no matter what. That one looked difficult for Icy. He doesn't have a great angle onto the diffuser, but I'm not sure that King understood exactly where Icy was. If he thinks perhaps that Icy's playing towards pipes, yeah, he might end up getting off that. First round where it looks like G2 have stolen it away from Lev rather than being in control the entire time. But we head back in. A slow beginning for G2. Thankfully, haven't missed too much, and Aspas posted up with an off.
Yeah, this drone was going to be spotting him. He doesn't even break it in the process. Has to use the dash to get out of there. High tide. Gonna whip its way across towards that B side. Lockdown. There are no answers to this. Lev used all of them up just in that prior round. Didn't even go their way. Lev have no choice but to really respect this one here. Push back and away. Cove up now. Props it forwards. Hand down for the wingman. Got to push it away. That's Basto. That's a nice one. This is just spam coming through, at least onto those long angles. Leviathan finally getting that advantage. The foothold that they were seeking that we've been talking about this entire time. Now it's all about converting again. G2. Shock darts forwards, flying Util into the hands as a punishment. There and away and around still with that damage. He cannot be getting away with his G2. Not again. Not like this. It's an old turn. The Thrash. Just to push back and away here. Texi just cannot get down from the high ground. There's no safety there. Just buying time and critical moments here for G2. Jump spotting. 7 bullets left. Ticking away once more. Dominant. A masterclass finish. To an almost impeccable attack side of G2. 10-2. They've made Lev look like a lost schoolboy.
Nobody has been able to touch the Leviathan Icebox like this, and G2 have run away with it. I said earlier that Lev didn't look like they were playing badly. It was just G2 playing perfect. These last 2 rounds, we've seen big mistakes from Leviatán. I think the play on that retake and the amount of shots being missed here, honestly. Icebox with the up missing shots you wouldn't expect, and somehow allowing Jonah P and Icy to run away with things towards the end. Maybe there was a chance for Lev to pull things back earlier, but now I'm worried.
Yeah, this is a G2 that are hungry to get to that grand finals for good reasons, of course.
G2 absolutely dominated the first half up against Leviatán, and it's been a really interesting stylistic matchup between the two teams, right? Leviatán, you've got Icebox on the Jet, and G2, they've got the Jetless, right? Icy on that Gecko. Honestly, coming into today, I was very worried for G2 because of how slowly they play their attacking sides. The guy like Icebox is so proactive at seeking out opportunities and finding timings around their utility that I was ready for this to be Leviatán up 10-2 against G2, but G2, they still played their rounds, and actually, Doug, they were kind of shutting them down.
Yeah, and I think honestly, as we think about the stylistic matchup, I would argue that it favors G2 heavily, and I'm not just saying that because the score is 10-2. I think they just play such a fundamentally sound play pace to the game. I think Valent's calling is immaculate on attack. They really feel the entire map out, and then even in this round that we just saw, they were able to eco them, and it was off of the map being played very slowly, not really even allowing Icebox to get in a position where he can take over a round. It was much more patient. It was much more methodical. It honestly feels like a death by 1,000 cuts when you're playing against G2.
And honestly, the comp making that a lot better for them, having that extra piece of initiator utility, but they're gonna have to close out here on the second half. We're going back to the casters for that.
There's a lot that is going to be asked of this Leviatán squad, I think, heading into the second half. It's their map pick of Icebox. And again, you know, the rumors that are swirling and circulating around this team about, you know, potentially have had quite an easy path here into the playoffs. Are they going to be able to beat the match of a team like G2? Right now, it's all G2.
Lev are going to need to pull out something special. Already, we've seen a bit of a different pistol round. 1-3-1 with pressure through mid. It's going to test G2's ideas.
Toxin screen down.
And end over towards A. Looks like a fairly empty site. I think from what I've seen in the last few months, there are very few, if any, IGLs that can match up against Valent's attack side calling. I mean, and this is going to be a massive test for King today, whether he can look comparable.
Absolutely is. Valen, oh my, the timing on this is insane. High tide?
He thinks the turret's right there.
Yeah, potentially cuts it off a little bit early there. Still up and over the top as well. All this information Valen has been gaining. It's a full stack of G2. They've got all the bodies in the right places. Ready to just strike from behind. Valen is right there when his team needs it. The pressure and noise is all being made, and everybody following through and playing off with this one. Heroics in order. But King is the only one to step up to that site of challenge. And Jonah P in the end just can't be stopped, man. This entire squad.
Can I make the comparison to what would have happened if the sides were swapped there? Valen goes on the flank immediately as soon as he realizes that B pressure is a little bit faked through mid, and he just starts walking out B main. If the sides were swapped and that was something that Lev had done on their defense, there'd be a G2 player waiting for them. The read would have already been there. That's the difference right now, is that G2 are ahead of all of the game plans, and Lev are not making the reads on what's happening on the other side of things. You see Valen thinking about the turret, throwing out that high tide, looking to get behind them, and Lev are left baffled in some of those spots, not anticipating the way that G2 are going to outplay them. And force to force, they're down 2-11.
It's a full investment, it needs to be, and a full stack towards A as well. They're not holding anything back. There's no hiding of the intent, just trying to lurk players up, trying to catch those cheeky timings, instead fully barreling their way forward. It's all trying to be expected and anticipated, but a spam go on one side here.
They know where Aspas loves to play.
Yeah, right at the top, you can feel them just raining bullets down onto that spot, forcing him to back away as well. It's all off angles being played again. Lev just trying to hunt and fight towards the back of the side here. Finding the mark, it's Aspas finally online. Here and now, leaves it up to Trent, but they're all being faced in the end, so Lev salvage it.
A lifeline for them. But how much longer can you hold on? Can you really chain this many rounds together? You see already that G2 are very aware of how Aspas likes to play on this map. They've avoided his operator perfectly, masterfully on the previous half. Now what they have to deal with is Aspas' aggressive post-line positions. Loves to play on top of Generator, loves to push into spawn through the rafters, loves to play on top of screens. I think that's going to be the big battle of this half. How much can Aspas do and how much can G2 stop him from getting that value?
Easy setup here for Leviathan. Got to keep stringing these rounds together to even stand a chance here. It is an open site. A lot of util being used. Potentially some sound cues as well being heard by Valen. He's making a call, and the rotation is abound by G2. Starting to get some bodies now onto the B site.
There isn't very much weaponry here. It should be a bit of a freebie for Lev.
Wall's going to drop as well. They're actually hunting out some of these players, maybe trying to catch the timing against them. All right, there is very little chance here for G2.
But Lev need to be building up towards some large ultimate. It's Mazzino that's the closest. Only one away now. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, just going 100 for it still. It's pretty evenly spread, like I said, though. One away from that big ult from Mazzino. Potentially something to play with.
Definitely. I think if they can get that online, they can certainly make a play happen. Alternatively, you want to be thinking about, are G2 going to look to be playing around that orb, but should we try something different? Do a 1-3-1, for example, and try to exploit mid-control. You know, you've got to be trying to think one step ahead of what Valen's anticipating. He's already showcased in the first 12 rounds. He's way ahead of you when the sides are flipped. Battle of the minds here. What did Lev go for? Early A pressure and slip these two up mid, perhaps. Now just throwing the Viper Orb and resetting into a 1-1-3. Quite standard here, maybe just looking to play Mazzino for the Orb.
That early Nano Swarm that was up and over as well does not remove the turret from mid. As was intended by Lev. Again, a lot of A pressure. Still with the spike leading over towards this direction. They don't have all their players here though. Still holding for a deep push and flank out. Potentially just being scarred, I think, by Valen and that deep push he did onto the pistol. Cove's now committed. One with a plan.
This is nice. Anticipating that G2 are going to be playing off-site because of that Reckoning. They just take the plant for free and have Reckoning for post. Good identification of the way that G2 are going to be looking to play, and King's on the late lurk.
Spas heavily committed. Reckoning has to be committed as well, just to help him out. Big reveal. Dart spotting the two, spraying away. Mazzino not getting punished, at least from not letting the rifle reset here. Backing away now, trying to play this post a little bit better here with a Cove. Broken and bursted, still the kills coming in here for G2. Wingman, it's online, up and over the rocks as well. It's still being defused as well, despite the fact that Icy was dropped from behind the flank. It's King to deny and delay, trying to land that kill, and finally goes his way.
Important round to get on the board there for Leviathan. A really great read from King. A well put together attack side call from him. They take a free A site, recognizing that G2 are playing off. And you saw the value of that Reckoning in the post plan. It allowed Aspas to play so much more aggressively, or at least have his safety on site in those kind of spots. And then that timing from King could not have been at a better spot. It did look a little bit shaky, but he cleaned things up. Second highest rated player of Americas behind Aspas so far.
Almost missing that one.
Valen, he went for the tank. You very, very rarely see people try to ego check that and go for the orb anyway.
Little timing just slightly off, so Valen survives, but barely.
It does deny the ult from Con.
Drones committed nice and early here from Lev, but different look to the round from them. Normally they're very all in.
Toxin screen down.
This time, a bit more patience being played.
You see Tex, Com, watching in spawn, looking to see whether a push-up like this has happened. Deep off angle.
Whoa, okay, Com was fairly ready for that one still. Jonah P not able to get a kill off the back of it. Big committal, and out in the open as well. There's no water. Problem salves up in the danger zone ever so slightly for Lev. You can feel it going amiss in terms of their protocols, but at least they're winning the fights out.
And I think that's the key for this team. They have been looking to try to play looser. If Tex gets on the warpath like he did against Crew, there is a chance that comebacks could happen. Maybe not on this map, but certainly looking towards Bind Ascent. And Lev are going to give it a good shot here too.
One round at a time, as long as you deal with these players up onto the flank. Putting the pressure down onto him. Weakened up Valin. Going walkabouts though into the spawn, but facing it together. So very committed in terms of the ideas that Lev were going for, making sure that they all played together for that one. That was against the anti, or at least the eco, half by round 4G2. This time, a lot of ults being earned up. A lot of weapons too.
This next round is going to be a blockbuster. Huge ultimates on both sides. Tex one away from lockdown. I mean, both of the Killjoys having access to that. Sova ults on both sides as well, so there's the additional mind games of both ults being able to be countered.
Yeah.
Just myriad different ways that both teams could try to play this setup. And it's King really in the driving seat as the attack side IGL. How he wants to play the pace, where he wants to put the pressure.
The round might get messy. Yet to find out and see.
Ultimate ready.
Deep drone down mids. And expended here by G2.
Reactive so far from G2 as well. They were looking to clear out mid, now they rotate over towards B. The response to all of this pressure.
The calling of Lev this entire time making noise over towards B. Similar game plans to what we saw in the prior round. Tex and King still grouped up, side by side, looking to see if they can gain any space. Towards A, maybe call a potential pivot. It's a Reckoning that's offloaded. Cascade as well. This really does feel like it's going to be trying to land over towards B again, but G2 have players committed into mid. I'm beginning to read that this isn't exactly what it seems.
But at the same time, I think the space has already been gained. If Tex falls, that would be a problem for Lev. But otherwise, G2 just looking to play a bit of a retake here.
Oh, Tex has wandered way too far.
Way far up.
Head of the curve. To his own dismay, and still it's down to that rifle aim. King, he will deliver. Dropping down two, so that Hunter's Fury is causing issues in the movement. Barely enough to get out of there. Icebox survives into the mix now. 3 versus 3. Comes still with the ult, and he's playing this one far back as well. That's the insurance policy into the back pocket. What is going to be the play by G2 as well. Bodies will topple and fall. Still getting a few players onto this one, at least with the wingman. Onto the fuse. He committed. The acknowledgement broken. These were just the one burst. Icebox holding for the deeper push as well, just spotting it. Top of the head, top of the cranium, just can't quite land it as well. Movement, a jar, finally. There with a preempt. Tread sticking all the way through. And there was no plan in sight for Leviatán. Just didn't quite have the extra level to it.
Match point.
I called it when I saw Tex going forwards, but that I think was a big error. King did an amazing job in the post plan there, but when Tex dies, it gives Trent a free overall to be able to use. He doesn't need to save it for any kind of post plan lockdown. So when Tex falls, suddenly you see this massive Reckoning overall combo come through, slicing its way through Leviatán and allowing the rest of G2 to take aggressive positions. Putting Aspas and Com in a very difficult spot. Lev would now need 6 in a row. But G2 have taken an eco round here just to make sure that they don't force and make things more difficult for themselves.
Yeah, playing it for long-term focus. And grab the win round a little bit later down the line. Aspas, this is incredibly committal. Part of the course of this guy. The Swarms not doing a job there to push back the plant, so we're going that extension into the round as well. Deep flank here. The P, again, looking to potentially pressure from the side as well. G2 now sending in waves of the util. Committal here. The lockdown by Lev, just trying to push them back in a way as well. What is the plan in place for G2?
They're looking to pinch Com from both sides. Look at this protocol to clear out the lurker. Gorgeous stuff. Recognition, no Sova utility. Let's go and find where Com is.
Gonna have to get a move on here. Time is against them. There's of the essence in this spot right here. Committed positions out from Mazzino, off angle, spraying him down, at least with it. Nana Swarms delaying, denying as well, even more. Time has been brought up against him again. It's up that narrow margin, half onto it, sticking on the way, but every single player falling. It was down to the wire. Even if Wingman got the full stick, I don't think it was even possible for them. Still, Lev alive.
G2 weren't even trying to win that round. They came into it with an eco buy and didn't use their lockdown. They almost won. They nearly just closed it out right there on a thrifty. Clearly, they need to be disguising these comm lurks a little more. And I think playing more aggressive post-plant positions too, to make sure that G2 can't just swarm into back of sight like that. This is the round that matters for G2. They're going to be investing economy, ults. And immediately, Viper's Pit used on B.
Real difficult one to get yourself through here with the drone. There's no committal. Only a few bullets just to accompany it. Off to the side as well. No lucky kill that they were hoping for. Donor P's not dropped, so the pit stays up.
G2 have been playing mostly retake on the A side. They haven't really pushed anybody deep towards Nest. Haven't been playing on-site crossfires. Lev could get a read, but they can just walk up. Instead, going towards mid. All a battle of timings.
Yeah, it is once more, isn't it? Drone. It's a deep committed angle. Off to the corner as well. Icy just bodyguarding as well. He was right there behind him. A lot of noise being made as well. It's scurry with the footsteps. Potentially a bit of acknowledgement there for G2 as well. They are holding. Most of their team is back just watching for a cross up into mid as well, but maybe expecting it in a different position. Spikes over towards A. Space again given up here to Tex, but he can't overstep himself. Not again. This is the defining moment. There's only 34 seconds left and just strikes. Rapid approach, backs away now, playing with the rest of the team, and across and away, over an attempt to punish. Here's a lockdown. Ults now being laid up, one after the other. The Thrash Entertainment off into the corner, needs to be, he's bodyguarded off to the side. Dizzy, Delwave, Spaz. That is just elite still. The flooding fast. Into the thick of it, off to the side, Jonah P, that's snappy, and the pressure is definitely on. Icy already applying it. Quick little tap at the defuse as well. Kills need to flood in and through. Jonah P needs to be dealt him off from the side, and they do finally take care of him, down to just one. Trent not able to catch it into the cross. A tap again, but he knows he's not on it. It's even evident, and the 3-2-1 swing is good enough for Lev, and good enough for the round win. They are stringing this together.
Not ready.
And Tex has managed to wake up and start hitting shots like he did yesterday. And he's dominating some of these rounds, of 4K in it. Pretty lucky one from Icebox in the middle of all of that as well. But on top of all of this, Tex is going so far forwards. He's the player that's exploring through A. He's the player taking the risk and finding out that the site's open. He's also not putting a turret for the flank, so he allowed Jonah P in through the back. He needed to make up for it in the front by hitting those shots, because he created that gap, wasn't watching things for the rest of his team. Reminder that G2 took an eco round in order to make round 20 their decisive final blow. And now they're forced onto another eco here.
Yeah, ults being committed as well into the prior.
Yeah, things are starting to slip away from G2's iron grip that they had on this map earlier on.
Here.
This one just trying to hold. Oh my goodness! The shot just barely missing. The haircut given to Mazzino.
And I think that's indicating the kind of loss of grip we're talking about with G2.
It's tumultuous.
Poison's off.
Jonah P. It's committed. Drone as well, potentially giving him that extra information. It's broken. There's two rifles ring out as well. It gives him a bit of an indicator to play it. That's a shot to swing off. I mean, cooking up plays on the fly. G2, surely this is not how you win a round. This is not how you close out a map, not in any sort of typical fashion, but why not? When the Sheriff's online, when the shots are hitting.
30 seconds left.
Time is what you make of it already. How is Jonah P getting this value? 2 versus 2. Damage done to Mazzino. All it takes is the tiniest of breezes to bring him down. That's a tap to force him out into the open. G2 on the precipice, on the cusp, and that's how they finish it. A thrifty to close it all out.
Ridiculous. The manner in which that round opened up as well. How is Jonah delivering again and again from difficult spots like that? At the end of the day, it looked like it was maybe slipping out of G2's grasp, but the advantage they'd given them on the attack side with Valent's impeccable calling ended up being too high of a mountain for Leviatán to climb. And that's Lev's map pick. Yeah, they were starting to get back into it there a little. Maybe that momentum will be helpful for buying, but otherwise, if you cast your mind back, they were almost out of this halfway through.
Fully outclassed, really, almost up until the end. Still, we're going to be stepping away. GP and the analyst desk breaking it all down for map number 1. You don't want to miss it, so don't go anywhere.
Every time I needed a new phone, I had to switch carriers.
I told him, at Verizon, everyone can get the best deals. Like that iPhone 15 on them.
Switching all the time, it wasn't easy.
35.
You're gonna be here forever.
I know.
Here's your wireless contract.
I need a lawyer for this. Those were hard days.
Representative switch!
Now that I got a huge storage and battery upgrade, I'm officially done switching.
New and existing customers get iPhone 15 on us when they trade in any iPhone, any condition, guaranteed.
I really wish you told me sooner.
I did.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.